Hi, I'm the Malt activist, and today we'll be checking out the awesome Port Charlotte PC11. So the Port Charlotte range of whiskeys is the brainchild of the absolutely amazing Jim McKeeven, ex-master distiller of Bruichladdich. Wonderful person. I've had the pleasure of meeting him, and he's one of the nicest people on Isla in the whiskey industry, if you will. I remember we had a meeting with him at 9 o'clock in the morning. He was very gracious to give us that time, and we went into his office and sat down, and he said, "Would you lads like some coffee?" And we said, "No, we're fine, thank you. We'd just rather speak to you." And he said, "Would you like some whiskey?" And we couldn't refuse, and we were like, "Yeah, we would love some whiskey." And mind you, it was 9 o'clock in the morning as we sat in his office, and he walked out and casually brought in 3 drams of Bruichladdich 30, which was his last bottle and a few drams left, and he was just so kind enough to simply share it with us. And we spoke about a lot of things, and he's a wonderful, wonderful character, and such an amazing person. And this is his brainchild, the Port Charlotte. Bruichladdich, as you know, don't peat their whiskies. However, Jim introduced 2 styles of whiskies that were complete polar opposites of what Bruichladdich was producing. The Octomore is one which is just heavily peated, and I think they've gone up to like over 300 ppm levels. And the next is the Port Charlotte, or the PC series, and they started bottling them at PC5, which meant the spirit was 5 years old. And so the bottle that I have in my hand, the PC11, is an 11-year-old spirit, bottled at 59.5%. Love it. And I did a little bit of digging, and the maturation process is quite interesting. It's 9 years in first fill bourbon barrels, followed by 2 years in ex-Oloroso sherry casks. So it's not just a finish. Well, maybe it is a finish, but it's as good as a maturation, if you like. So this is not just like a 6-month finishing exercise. They spent a good 2 years in Oloroso sherry casks. And this is one of my favorite whiskeys. The PC6 is absolutely outstanding. This one is the 11. These are, of course, non-chill filtered, no additional color added, cask strength, so this is what you get. What a huge nose. Super peaty, so salty. If you've been to the distillery, you'll know that it's right on the shore. The salty waves crashing in the background as you sit in the visitors center sampling some good whiskey. And that sort of reminds me of that. Very salty, very briny, campfire smoke. There's camphor as well, like a linseed oil, paraffin oil note, which I like, which if not done properly can be off-putting, but in here is just stewed fruits, red fruits, hints of caramel, butterscotch, salted caramel actually. So this is quite savory on the nose. The spices developed after a bit. Very lemony, very briny, quite citrusy as well. The pure alcohol just hits you in the face, 60% almost. Lovely nose. I know what I'm going to get when I have a drink of this, and I'm looking forward to it. It's a whiskey with a tremendous bite, and it's one of my favorites from Isla. Cheers. This is amazing. It's so big. It's massive. It's so sweet as well, which is something I wasn't prepared for, because the nose is quite savory, but on the palate all these fruits come crushing through. You know, there's apple, there's stewed fruits, there's orange, and there's lemon, and there's citrus, all combined with like this caramel toffee flavor, and then there's big smoke. And right now I honestly feel like I've been standing next to a barbecue or a bonfire on the beach for an hour, and that's all I reek of, right? Is the smoke and the soot and the and the coal fire. This is absolutely lovely. Normally I'd water this down, but I think this is the way it's meant to be enjoyed. I know it tastes really well with water. It takes well to water, and when you dilute it down a little bit, the flavors pop even more. It becomes a little more palatable. But you know, I'm going to give this whiskey the respect it deserves and drink it exactly the way it is. And you know, if that means I have to suffer a little bit for it, then so be it. So oily. The second sip is not so alcohol forward. It's a lot more sweeter. Oh, just came back. Again, massive. The smoke just goes down your gullet and then stays there and stays and stays, and you think that's it, and then suddenly it comes rushing out, and that's a brilliant whiskey experience. I love whiskeys like this that make me work for it, and this is exactly what it's doing. It's beautifully constructed. The flavors are on point. There's nothing off balance. It's not too smoky, it's not too sweet, it's not too savory, it's not too salty, and it's just got a lovely balance to it, and the mouthfeel is perfect, so velvety, and it coats your entire palate, and it makes your mouth water. Very oily, very viscous. Yeah, one of my favorite drams ever. Not because I love the distillery, Bruichladdich. You know, they seldom put a foot wrong. Also not because it's been, you know, handcrafted by Jim McKeeven, who's one of my most favorite people on that island. It's just that this is a damn fine whiskey. These are hard to come by. This is a 2013 bottle. This was released 7 years ago. If you can get your hands on it, please do. You'll absolutely love it. You won't regret it. Give it to one of your unsuspecting friends and watch their face as they try and swallow this whiskey. So thank you for joining me. I'm glad I got to share this wonderful whiskey with you. It's one of my favorites. I'm the Malt Activist. Thank you for joining me. Until next time.